So far in a game of Snakes and Ladders, we've constructed a board. That was our first problem we dealt with. And we've constructed our snakes and our ladders, which are effectively the same thing, except they just go in different directions, so I colored them differently. So the way we did that is we made a shortcut class to deal with the snakes and ladders. We made a square class to deal with our squares. And by taking that code and creating modules effectively to handle each of those individually, our main code for our game is pretty neat at the moment. We've got our two arrays, our actual original data, which we can just modify to change the game. We've just got our setup function, which creates everything, and our background. You know what? This really needs some comments. Okay, so we're just going to add some comments. This is the grid structure. And this is the in-game snake/ladder controller. Down here, create the canvas to draw on, construct a grid, and construct the ladders, construct the snakes, and we just draw everything. So draw the grid, draw the snakes and ladders. Okay, so we've got our snakes, our ladders, our board. I suppose we need a player. Okay, so I'm going to follow the same idea. I'm just going to create a player class, and I'll probably have a list of players. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to save it as player.js, class, player. And when I make a player, I'm going to construct them. And what I need to know about my player when I construct them. I really need to know a location, so where they are on the board, and maybe color. So I need to store this location equals location, this dot color equals color, and I'm going to need to draw it. So draw. So it's going to need to have an X and Y coordinate to draw from. And so the X and Y coordinate to draw from is going to be, I suppose, the current square that it's on. So how do I get the information? Oh, well, conveniently, I can do the same thing I did in Shortcut. I can use this midpoint that I created for the square. So this handy little helper. So as long as I've got the location, I can work out its midpoint. So let x equal, so I'm not using it as a this.x because x is going to change depending on location. So this.x equals square list at this.location dot midpoint dot x, and let y equal square list this dot location dot midpoint dot y. And I'm just going to draw a circle. It's going to be at location x, comma y. It's going to have now there's a radius or diameter. I can never remember. I'll just set it to 50 anyway. And it's actually going to be filled with this dot color, whatever the color of the current player is. That's my player class. Okay, so over in, because all I need is location and color, and it can draw itself. So over here, I need to create a player list. An array, in-game controller, in-game record of all the players. When I do the setup, I'm going to create the players. So I'm just going to create these manually. I'm not going to actually use a loop. So I'm going to make two players. So let player 1 equal new player. They're going to start location 0, and the color is going to be orange. And let player 2 equal new player. And start at 0, and the color is going to be pink. And I need to put them in the player list. So player list dot push player 1, player list dot push player 2. Notice it's doing this, telling me player's not defined because I have to include it once again over here. So script source equals player.js. So now player will be defined. Unless I did something wrong. Nope, should be there. Okay. And actually, I need one other thing I'm going to keep track of now, who the current player is. Let current player equals 0. Whose turn it is. Okay, so I suppose I need to draw the players as well. Okay, so for let I equals 0, I is less than playlist.length, I plus plus, playlist I dot draw. Okay, let's go and have a look. And I can't see any players. I is not defined, sketch.js, line 80. Because it's I, not you. There we go, and everything's pink now. So I'm going to go back to Square.js, and I'm going to set fill to white. Now everything looks right. The red and the pink are drawn onto each other. I think 50 is a bit big for them, so I'm going to drop that down to, I don't know, 40? Yeah, 40 will do. Okay. So now I have, effectively I've got the game set up. I'm ready to go. I've got the board, the snakes, the ladders, and the numbered squares. Doesn't look pretty, but functionally it's ready to go. So the next thing I really need to do is I need to have a button to roll the dice, and it's going to move that player a certain number of squares forward. And when I've got that working, then I can worry about the snakes and the ladders themselves.